Remember, Patriots, when we warned about the October surprise? Well, here it is. The New York Times, working hand in hand with Media Matters, is preparing to launch a coordinated pressure campaign against YouTube's top 30 conservative voices. Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool, they are all targets, and the timing is no coincidence. 1 week before the election, they're trying to force YouTube into silencing every major conservative voice on the platform. Now, you know what else? Who else knows about fighting back against powerful forces trying to take you down? Chuck Norris does. At 83, he's still standing strong despite the system trying to wear him down. Just like conservative voices refuse to be silenced, Chuck discovered one simple change that's keeping him energized and ready to fight. He's still working out, staying active, and feeling like he's in his 50s. You want to know a secret? Watch his special video at chuckdefense.com/next or click the link below. Like Chuck won't back down, neither will we. And we won't be silenced either. Now let's get into it. Here's the top 30 conservative influencers on YouTube that I think could also be in the crosshairs. I'll get to that list in a moment, but it all started when I saw this post from Ben Shapiro. If you're wondering what the legacy media would plan for its October surprise, wonder no longer, it's here. Today I received the following text from a reporter at the New York Times. And it goes into great detail. The reporter's name is Nico Grant. He says, I want to give you an opportunity to comment for an upcoming article. And he asked some points about Media Matters, identified 286 YouTube videos that he made between May and August that contain election misinformation, including narratives that have been debunked or not supported with credible evidence. Of course, Media Matters is a hit job organization. They have targeted this channel repeatedly. Elon Musk pointing out that the New York Times is a threat to our democracy. ALX, who I did meet at the Madison Square Garden rally, he pointed out the New York Times is launching a hit piece against 30 prominent conservatives, including Tucker, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, and others, in an attempt to deplatform them from YouTube. We also have Ben Shapiro's reaction to this news, and he just released this several hours ago. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Why Media Matters was yesterday afternoon. I received a text. From a reporter at the New York Times. And that text read thusly. Good day, Mr. Shapiro. I hope you're well. I'm Nico Grant, a reporter at the New York Times. I wanted to give you an opportunity to comment for an upcoming article that takes a look at how political commentators have discussed the upcoming election on YouTube. We rely on an analysis conducted by researchers at Media Matters for America. Could you kindly provide us with a comment or decline to comment by the end of day tomorrow, Tuesday, October 29th? Thank you so much for your time. Here are the points we plan to include. Media Matters identified 286 YouTube videos between May and August that contained election misinformation, including narratives that have been debunked or are not supported with credible evidence. Researchers identified videos posted by you in those 4 months that contain election misinformation. We feature a clip of you saying, quote, your party rigged many of the voting rules in advance of the election in order to ensure an extraordinary number of mail-in ballots, ballot harvesting. I also have a few questions. 1, are you a member of the YouTube Partner Program? 2, if so, how frequently does YouTube demonetize your videos? 3, has YouTube sent you messages, emails, or notices in the last year that your content contains misinformation? Thanks for your time. So, here is what's going on here. This is not just a text. This is the October surprise. Here's what the New York Times was planning pretty obviously and clearly. Working with Media Matters for America, which is a far-left radical organization that was started by David Brock in an overt attempt to destroy all conservative media. That is why Media Matters was launched. It was launched in order to astroturf boycotts on conservative media and anyone who had advertised with conservative media. Media Matters became incredibly famous by essentially launching secondary boycotts on people like Rush Limbaugh. They've tried it with us as well. They've tried it with our hosts. This is what they do. The New York Times is overtly, clearly admitting to using Media Matters research in order to pressure YouTube to demonetize people on the right, to destroy them, because when you are demonetized, that also limits your reach, to destroy their dissemination of information 1 week prior to an election. That's what's going on here. It turns out the October surprise from our media is an overt attempt, along with Media Matters. Again, both of these parties are Democratic apparatchiks, Media Matters and the New York Times, in order to silence dissent 1 week out from an election. That is what this is about. That's what the text is about. That's the entire game. You run an article on the front page of the New York Times saying, YouTube is subsidizing election misinformation. And that pressures YouTube, which, by the way, is Google, which is the #1 donor to the Democratic Party. The #1 donor to the Democratic Party. You push them to censor any and all hosts, any and all information that disagrees with the left. Because here's the thing, they didn't just reach out to me. As we now know, they reached out to pretty much everybody on the right. Other hosts from the Daily Wire, people like Tucker Carlson, they reached out to everyone on the right. Why? Because their goal is to shut the spigot off so you can't get any information on places like YouTube. 26% of Americans get their news from YouTube, according to Pew. Now, that number theoretically is even higher because those are people who are getting most of their news from YouTube. But there are people who are engaging with news on YouTube without even knowing it, because that's where political ads run. It's where you watch a non-political video, and then you're pushed to a political video, and you watch it for 5 minutes before you tune out to the next DIY trick on how to fix up your home or something. Shutting off the spigot on news information 1 week in advance of an election, that is the New York Times trick yesterday.
So that's what Shapiro's reaction to all this was. Tucker Carlson also got the same message from the New York Times, Nico Grant. Fox News posting this. In cahoots, conservative commentator Ben Shapiro says a reporter at the New York Times has teamed up with Media Matters to try and label some of his YouTube videos as election misinformation. And of course, the firsthand information was already posted. Ben Shapiro laying it out. We posted this also on our X account. You need to follow us there if you have not. Chris Pavlovsky, who is the head of Rumble, he says he's getting the sense there's going to be a massive censorship campaign next week. Note, if YouTube censors creators, don't be surprised if the big cloud companies do the same. Rumble is running on Rumble Cloud, so they're ready for the scenario. AZ Horse Lady posting that Media Matters is a very left organization going back years, where they've silenced or tried to silence people. YouTube scrubbed the Joe Rogan interview with Trump after less than 48 hours, saying it was spam to his truth getting out. We did post this confirmation, and then we posted the potential top 30 conservative influencers on YouTube, including Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Tim Cass, Officer Tatum, Anthony B. Logan, Mark Dice, Charlie Kirk, Tommy Lahren, Glenn Beck, Matt Walsh, Dan Bongino, Conservative Millen, Real Candace O, G. Foreman, Greg Foreman. Next News Network is on the list. Benny Johnson, James O'Keefe, Denisha Souza, Waking with JP, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Reuben Report, Michael Knowles, PragerU, Hodge Twins, Red Pill Patriot, Judge Janine, David Harris Jr., Liberty Hangout, and Blaze TV. Now, I went to ChatGPT after I learned that there was going to be 30 people, 30 accounts potentially targeted. And I said, okay, who are the top 30 influencers? And that was the list that ChatGPT gave me. And of course, we were on that list, and so was Mark Dice. I was actually on the phone with Mark when we were talking about this, and I generated the list. And the list was generated by analyzing multiple factors, including audience size, engagement, frequency of content posting, cross-platform presence, unique influence within conservative circles. Higher ranks were given to influencers with large followings, high engagement, consistent uploads, cross-platform reach, especially on topics relevant to conservative audiences. So that was my initial, I'm like, who are these top 30 potential people that could be targeted? And I just told you. So we're going to find out very soon when this article drops. So just be aware that, there's a lot of people out there that could eventually be silenced or affected by this hit piece. And let's just hope that YouTube does the right thing and ignores this pressure campaign, because that's exactly what it is. Media Matters is no friend to conservatives. And they've attacked this channel multiple times before, especially during the pandemic. And we just hope that, everyone survives this. So say a prayer for everybody, okay? So first they tried to label 80 million Trump supporters as Nazis. Now they're trying to silence every major conservative voice just days before the election. The New York Times isn't just writing a story. They're providing cover for the biggest coordinated takedown of conservative influencers that we've ever seen. And they pick their timing very carefully. So our question for our viewers is, what does it tell you that they're targeting? What does it tell you that they're targeting conservative voices now, just 1 week before the election? Share your thoughts below.